Okay. Hi, everybody. I am just pulling up the live on my phone because sometimes the chat doesn't come through and I just want to make sure it comes through. So, how is everybody? Hello and welcome. We are talking about me and all of my diagnoses today, or at least that is the game plan. If you don't know me that well, or if you're watching the replay, hello, my name is Megan. I am autistic and ADHD. At least that's how I usually start these videos, but I actually just received another diagnosis, like literally an hour ago, that I have been suspecting for a while and totally makes sense, but is also like much more highly stigmatized in our society, I think. And, I'm not going to like bury the lead or beat around the bush. So I got diagnosed with a dissociative disorder. The most popular or common or well-known, I guess, dissociative disorder is DID, so dissociative identity disorder, which used to be known as multiple personality disorder. My therapist said that that's what I have, but I am going to argue with her next week because I think maybe she misspoke or maybe I'm misunderstanding the criteria because I don't feel that I meet the criteria for DID. Hello, Cool Kids Army. It's so good to see you. How are you? How is everybody? I guess I should have had some preamble into this. Like how is everyone? Where are you tuning in from? Let me know in the chat. But I don't feel that I meet the full criteria for DID because I don't have full amnesia between all of my like parts in my head. I have some emotional amnesia, if that makes sense. But not like I don't black out or brown out even. So anyway, I think I have OSDD, which is other specified dissociative disorder. But my therapist was like, I'm very comfortable diagnosing you with DID. And then I was so like floored by that level of validation that I like forgot to ask her, like, wait a minute, what do you mean DID? Like, I thought we were talking about OSDD. And so anyway, I need to ask her about that next time, which will be fine. But I lost my train of thought thinking about my therapist's lore. I got some lore today. I love getting therapist lore. Do you guys love that when your therapists like drop little nuggets about themselves and you're like, you're such an interesting person. Like if this wasn't a therapy relationship, we would be friends. Anyway, Cool Kids Army. I'm good. I went on a school field trip. Oh, where did you guys go? What did you do? That's amazing. I loved field trips at school, like literally the best to get out of the classroom for a little bit and go see something, do something. But yeah, so that's my little reveal. I guess I have a dissociative disorder. I think it's OSDD, might be DID, I guess. I don't know, but I have a dissociative disorder. And I just thought I would hop on and tell you guys about it because why am I telling you about it? Partially because I tell you guys a lot of stuff about me. And if I were to hide this specifically, it would feel like I'm adding to the stigma. Like, oh, I can advocate for autism and ADHD, but I'm too scared to advocate for OSDD or dissociative disorders. Like, and which to be fair, my own fear is valid and fair and I'm allowed to experience it. But anyway. Oh, Robbie's here. Hello. I miss seeing you too. Sorry I haven't been on lives recently. I tried last week or the week before, but I had like just had therapy and I was really dissociated from talking about like some stuff. And so, yeah. Oh my goodness, my hair is like, I need a shower real bad, but I'm just like not in the mood. We went to the city called Ghent. We went to a museum, had fun around the city. I also have a wholesome story that happened at the end. Yes, tell us the wholesome story. That's wonderful. Tell us all about it, Cool Kids Army. It's okay, I understand. Thank you, Robbie. You guys are always the best. You're always so understanding and kind, and I just appreciate you a lot. My kids have been sick like the entire month of May. It's been brutal for them and for me. I feel bad that they've been sick, but also that means they've been home from daycare and I just haven't been able to get much work done. So going live especially is really hard because I don't want my children's faces on the internet until they're old enough to like consent to that. And so it just makes going live really, really hard. So I haven't been doing that very much. I am back on TikTok. Let me grab my TikTok real quick, and y'all can follow me over there if you would like. Drop that. It's just at Meg Moxie, MEGMOXIE. But I am back on TikTok if you guys want to hang out with me over there. Let's see. But yeah, I got diagnosed with a dissociative disorder this morning. Wild. Like, I've known for the last couple of months, like I've been pretty sure, but also like I can't decide if I have health anxiety or if I just have a lot of disorders. And I like thought that I had health anxiety, but I've gotten diagnosed with everything. So part of me is like, do I have health anxiety at all, or do I just have a lot of shit? It's been a whole thing. Also, look at my nails. Aren't my nails cute? So cute. I'm obsessed. So I do this thing in the summers where I go to festivals I have a 1920s, it's right there, 1920s typewriter. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's there. I have a 1920s typewriter and I bring it to festivals and I write poems for people on the spot. And I'm doing one for my local Pride festival coming up, not this weekend, but next weekend. So I am so excited. I thought these nails would be fitting for that. Let's see, what else? Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys want to chat about? Do you have questions about OSDD or about the process of getting diagnosed, about what it's like to be plural, about resources? I included a resource in the description of this live that just is like a quick explanation of like what OSDD is. So if you're like, I don't know anything about this, I don't even know enough to ask anything about this, like start there. So my only friend and only other girl in my class wasn't there, so I was a bit alone. I made a new friend and at the end I was in a lot of pain. Yeah. I don't know. Oh, character limited. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah, sorry. You can put the next part in, but yes. I'm just going to talk like in between though. Cool Kids Army. But yeah, so I put a resource there if you want to learn a little more about OSDD. But the way I like to describe it is like, okay, you've heard of parts work, right? A lot of people, parts work has gotten really popular over the last couple of years, which is so interesting to me for lots of reasons. But parts work basically says that we all have different parts of ourselves that kind of have different roles, right, in our lives. And someone with like what could be called like normal parts or like not fully dissociated parts, someone without a dissociative disorder still has parts, right? We still have different aspects of ourselves, you know? So the way I describe this is sort of like a house. Someone without a dissociative disorder lives in a house and there are all these parts living in the house, but all the doors are always open. Or sometimes a door might close if a part is really upset or something, but the doors don't lock. Or if they do lock, it's for a very short amount of time, right? Someone with DID, dissociative identity disorder, is kind of like a cul-de-sac of houses, right? They are all their own distinct houses with distinct decorating styles, distinct people who live there, but they're all connected by proximity, aka in DID, all the alters share the body, you know? Then you have OSDD, which is kind of like one house, but a lot of the doors are closed. Some of them are locked. Some of them are like secret bookshelf doors. There's like a basement you didn't know about. That is like OSDD. At least that's my experience of OSDD. Like I have access to all the memories, I think. There's always a chance that, well, in most of the memories, I do have a couple of events that are just like gone in my head. Like they're just erased. It's just nothing is there. Or certain things will like replace it to try to make it seem normal. But if I look closely, I'm like, that's not that memory. That's a different memory that got stuck in there. Anyway, most of the time I have all the memories. But I don't always have all the emotions. I don't have access to all of the things about me. So like my biggest example of this is the way that I experience my depression. I have symptom holders, right? I have certain parts of me that are designed to hold my symptoms, specifically of depression. And, see, even talking about this is hard. Like I am trying not to dissociate while I'm talking to you. It's okay. It's fine. I'm happy to do it. I'm not like in distress. It's just that my brain is like, you're not allowed to know about this. The whole point of being a dissociated system is like, for you not to know about it. Like it's meant to be very covert. And the fact that I'm aware of it now, my system is like not super happy about it sometimes. It's like, go, like, stop paying attention to us. I'm working on it. Anyway, what was I talking about? I don't remember, but I want to address Cool Kid's story. So I told my new friend and he told my teachers we still needed to walk 20 minutes to the bus. My mechanics teacher and a teacher that doesn't teach my class walked with me the whole 20 minutes, so I wasn't alone. My mechanics teacher is my favorite teacher. That's amazing, Cool Kids Army. I am so glad that you had people who were willing to like stick with you, and like even though you were in pain, even though you might have been moving a little slower, they were just like, yeah, no, you're like a person who's worthwhile, and we're happy to spend this time with you and help you get to the bus. Like that's really, really cool. I'm glad that you have that. I'm really glad you have that. Okay. I totally forget what I was talking about before. Something about OSDD, I'm sure, but I don't remember what it is. I want to post on TikTok about it. I'm just very, very nervous. A lot of people get accused of like faking on there, which is really frustrating because like you don't know somebody. You just don't know somebody. You might think you know them, but you don't know them. And so I'm nervous about getting accused of faking and all this stuff and whatever, but I also like don't want to hide it because there are so many people who have OSDD who feel really underrepresented. And I want to represent people. I want to show up for people. I want to explain my experience and help other people who share this kind of experience. So, and then I have a whole Instagram post that I really want to share. That's like the signs that I have OSDD that have been ignored for years and years and years, you know? That's what I was talking about. I was talking about symptom holders at one point, and I never got around to the point of that. But I have parts of me that are dedicated to holding the symptoms of my depression. And they come forward sometimes when they can't help it, when there's too many symptoms and they're just like freaking out about stuff. And then as soon as the gatekeeper part can get them to go away, they do. And I just feel better. Like my depression just goes away, like completely. It's not like I'm repressing it necessarily. It's like it literally goes away. And I can't even really remember what it was like to be depressed. When I talk to my other friends with depression, they're like, that's not normal. That's like not what we experience. And I was like, oh, maybe it's because of the meds I'm on, or maybe it's because I've been in therapy for so long that my depression is so like weird. I have been looking for a reason for why my depression is so weird for a decade and a half. And for a while we thought it was because it was bipolar, but that didn't really fit. And then we thought it was because I don't even know. Like they were just like, you're fine. You're actually fine, which was so exhausting. Because I wasn't fine. And now we know it's because I dissociate a lot. Now we know it's because I dissociate a lot, and that's fine. That's totally fine. Okay. Well, this is like very stressful to talk about, but also very exciting. It's like weird to be very public about this, but also I think there's a lot of good that can come from being very public about this. So I'm happy to do it. Do you guys have questions? Anybody have like thoughts or feelings? I guess I don't really need this live up. The comments are working now, so. That's funny. Oh boy. Okay. I don't know. Do you guys want to know anything about like what it's like to have OSDD, what it's like to dissociate, like my experiences with dissociation? I'm happy to talk about those. The big one that my therapist seems very fixated on, and she's like, I'm building a cardboard house at the moment. Cool Kids Army, heck yes. That is fantastic. I love that. But one of the main symptoms that my therapist was like very, I don't want to say concerned about, but took very seriously was the way I describe dissociating sometimes. Because there are times that like I will be sitting here, like my body is sitting here, but me, like my consciousness is like floating up here somewhere, like floating above my head. And she's like, yeah, that's like not super normal. And I've described that to my husband before, and I just assumed it happened to him sometimes too. And he's like, that has literally never happened to me ever in my life. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, like when you're sitting at the computer too long and you're staring at the screen and you just start to like whoop. And he's like, no, I don't know I do not know what you're talking about. But my husband is a very well-adjusted, very healthy person who, like, it's not that he's never been through shit. He's been through some serious shit, but he's always had a lot of support through that stuff. And as a result, he's just very well adjusted and very healthy. And like, he's also a Capricorn, so he just compartmentalizes a lot. Anyway, I remember dissociating as a teenager, and it wasn't until my 40s that I realized it and worked on reassociating. Oh, MZ, yeah. Yeah, as a teenager and like a preteen and stuff, I did a lot of maladaptive daydreaming. That was like my dissociation of choice. Like I would spend hours every single day in my daydreams just running them over and over and over and like tweaking things. And it was like kind of OCD-ish, kind of dissociation-ish, like both. And I'm not diagnosed with OCD, but something that my therapist and I are talking about is it's possible to have traits of disorders without meeting the criteria to have the full disorder. And I think that's where I fall with OCD. I definitely have traits, but I don't think I meet the criteria to like fully have OCD. So I'm in no way trying to claim that like identity. I have some obsessive tendencies that probably come largely from my autism, but yeah, the maladaptive daydreaming was a big one for me when I was younger. And then in college, it kind of switched to obsessing over my mental health, some like health anxiety stuff. But it wasn't really health anxiety because I was right. Like that's the thing. I've been diagnosed with pretty much everything had health anxiety about. So like, is it health anxiety or was I just being ignored? Yeah, some autistic traits are very similar to OCD traits. That's super true. That's super true. They can look somewhat similar. Yeah. Yeah. So it might just be my autism then, but yeah. I don't know. I guess I just want to like normalize that like I think sometimes we talk about DID and dissociation, dissociative disorders, OSDD is like something that can only happen if you've experienced like ritual abuse or like really, really intensely horrible stuff. And that can be true. That stuff is super real and does happen to people, and it's horrible. It's horrible. And DID can develop as a result, right? So I'm in no way denying that reality. I'm just saying, and also, I don't think you have to go through that kind of abuse, that kind of trauma in order to develop DID or OSDD. Like for me, I would say my trauma was pretty darn light, like not a big deal really, like very little T trauma, but for me, for my brain, it was big. It was really big and my brain couldn't cope with it. I had no skills to cope with it. And so it just split apart into different pieces, and different pieces took on different roles. And also, I want to say that little T trauma, although it is little in the sense that it is not, it's not one big bad thing. It can still like really radically shape your world, and that's okay, right? Like you're allowed to be shaped by the things that shaped you. It was training myself not to care about what was happening around me, not letting myself feel the feels deeply. I'd nip them in the bud. Yeah. I tried really hard to do that. I tried to get rid of my feelings. I tried not to care, and I like couldn't help it. And I think that's what led to like the ripping apart. Oh, bye, cool kids. It's always so good to see you. Bye. But I think that's what led to me like ripping into pieces is like, I'm having trouble talking about this, but it's important. I want to try. There was a part of me that couldn't help but care, and there was a part of me that knew that she wasn't allowed to. And so I just split a little bit. you know? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Do you guys have questions or thoughts? Is there anything that you're not understanding or anything that you like want to know more about? I'm not going to like detail my trauma because this isn't a space for trauma dumping. And also like, I don't need to prove that I like have bad enough trauma to like have the disorders that I have. I'm just not going to venture into that. But yeah, I'm definitely feeling a little dissociated talking about it, but also it feels good. It feels good to like be myself and be honest. Hi, Rose. Hello. Proud of you. Thank you. Yeah, I've been suspecting this for a couple of months. I started reading the book Dissociation Made Simple, and I was like, oh shit, this is like my life. Oh no. And I brought it up to my therapist, and she was kind of like, well, we all kind of have OSDD in a way. And I was like, do we? So I told her I wanted to work with a therapist who specialized in dissociation. And so could we like take a break? And she said, absolutely, that's fine. And we left on very good terms. She's a very good therapist. She just wasn't, you know, the most validating about the dissociation stuff. And she didn't know that much about dissociation. So I switched to a new therapist who is kooky. She is so off the walls. Like, it's very interesting. Like, I told her about my past sleep paralysis. I don't have it anymore, really. I had one recently that was very scary, but generally it hasn't happened since college. But I was telling her about my sleep paralysis, and she's like, are you sure it wasn't just ghosts? And I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm pretty sure that this well-documented phenomena happened to me and was not just ghosts. So she's definitely off the wall. She's a little kooky, but I love that about her. We did a tarot reading in my therapy session today, which was so helpful and amazing. It's actually the reason I'm going live and talking to you guys about this right now, because I asked the cards, you know, is it safe to be myself in public? And the cards very much said, like, do it. You can do it. You can do this. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to try. So I might be making some videos about OSDD and stuff. I would love and super appreciate you guys' engagement on those videos. If it's something you're interested in, if you want to hear more about it from me, the best way to let me know that is to like leave comments, to like the video, to send it to your friends, you know, all of that. Yeah, it's so important. Hopefully more people will be brave enough to come forward and normalize this. Thank you, Rose. Yeah, that's the hope. Or even if they don't come forward, just to like see it in themselves, just to learn to recognize themselves as a plural person. Maybe that's okay. I hear you. It's so heavy to process. It takes time to learn how to feel again and stop lying to myself. That's it, MZ. I have to learn how to be honest again. It's like I just have been lying to myself about myself for decades. Like, having to learn to be honest again is like so fucking scary. It's so scary. I hate it a little bit, but it's important. It's really important. So yeah, MZ, I hear that. But yeah, I'll probably make some videos about it here soon. Because it's my new like hyperfixation. It's like the only thing I can think about is OSDD and dissociation, and I'm just like talking about it to everybody, and I might as well make some videos about it. So any positive engagement you can provide on those videos would be so appreciated. I have a couple of interviews if you want to learn more about dissociation. I interviewed Katie, whose name I forget. They were amazing. And then I interviewed Jamie Merritt, who is the author of Dissociation Made Simple, which is like a great book. Everyone should read it. I barely remember my childhood. I guess my brain shut those memories off. But when I get reminded of some things that happened through my sister, I just remember being turned off. Yeah. Floweric Poption. That's great, by the way. I love it. Yeah. Some people with trauma, some people with dissociative disorders, they don't remember their childhood at all. I remember a lot of my childhood, actually. There are very specific memories that are missing for me. Like my grandpa's funeral is just gone. It's replaced with my great uncle Ray's funeral. Why those are replaced, I don't know. My great uncle Ray died before my grandpa. I was younger. You would think, I don't know. They're just flipped. And I have nothing for my grandpa's funeral. It's just blank. which is weird. And then also for 9/11, granted I was pretty young, but still, that's replaced with Pope John Paul II's death has like replaced that memory in my brain. It's very like my brain is trying really hard to hide the fact that it doesn't have those memories by like replacing it with memories that are like kind of similar. The reason Pope John Paul II is like kind of similar to 9/11 is just in my head is because as a child, they were both days that the news was on all day, you know? So at least in my house, I grew up Catholic. So when the Pope dies, there's a lot of news coverage in the household and stuff. So, but yeah. So fascinating, but also scary. Our brains can do that. It is so freaky. Like I'm trying not to be freaked out by it and just really take like a harm reductionist approach where it's like my brain is doing everything it can to protect me. My brain is doing everything it can to cope and to survive and to do whatever is necessary to keep me healthy and happy, even if that means lying to me. And like that, it is scary, but also I'm like trying to admire the part of myself that is trying to keep me safe. All of my parts have function. All of my parts are good. So yeah, that's kind of the vibe I'm going for. For those of you new to the live, hello, my name is Megan. I am a life coach. I have autism and ADHD. I also apparently have OSDD. I just got diagnosed with that about 2 hours ago, which is crazy. I mean, I've been suspecting it for several months, so it didn't really come out of the blue. But still, several months is not a long, like we're talking like 3 months is like not that long of an amount of time for a diagnosis that you literally thought there was no way you could have, because like, how is that? That's for people with worse trauma. That's like what my brain is trying to tell me. Like, that's for people with real trauma. That's for people like you're just using like parts work. You're taking it too literally because you're autistic. Like, you know, I'm trying to tell my brain to chill out. But hey, Isabella, I've been seeing you go live and posting videos and stuff recently. Hello, it's always so good to see you. Hi. We're just talking about my new diagnosis. I got diagnosed with OSDD, which is other specified dissociative disorder. It is similar in some ways to dissociative identity disorder, which used to be known as multiple personality disorder, except at least for me, I don't have full amnesia between my parts. So like if one part is fronting and like taking care of all the daily stuff and the other parts are kind of quiet, like when a new part comes forward to take care of something, I don't forget all the stuff that I did while the other part was in front. I do, however, have some of the like emotional amnesia where like if a part felt something while they were up front, I can't feel it once they go into the back. If that makes sense. I don't have very good communication with my system yet because this is all very, very new to me. Like I said, I've suspected for about 3 months and I just got diagnosed today. So we don't have great communication yet, especially because all of my parts like are me. Like sometimes with DID, people feel truly that these parts are like completely different, people, which totally makes sense and is super valid. That's not the experience I have. It's like they are versions of me, but these versions of me are sometimes inaccessible to me in a way that I don't think is super like normal for people without a dissociative disorder. Interesting. I need to learn more. Yeah, I'm probably going to be posting about it on like TikTok and Instagram and stuff. And I'll probably make some videos here on YouTube as well. So I'll be teaching people about this because it is really fascinating and important for people to know about all of this. But yeah, it's just weird. It's just weird. I feel weird, but like in a good way. I don't know. Okay. Let's see. Anybody have any other questions? Anybody want to chat about anything specific? We can talk ADHD stuff as well. It doesn't all have to be OSDD or diagnosis, but let's see. I don't know. I don't know what else to say, to be honest. I'm a little shy. I'm a little nervous about sharing this. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just a little nervous because I don't want people to think I'm like faking for attention or something silly, but also I don't want people like, yeah, how did you get the diagnosis? Did your therapist tell you what it could be? So I run the Neurodivergent Lived Experience Summit. You aren't weird. The world is whack. Thank you, MZ. So I run the Neurodivergent Lived Experience Summit every January, right? I think most of you have attended. It's a collection, it's a bunch of different speakers who are all neurodivergent in different ways come together to talk about their experience with neurodivergence. And this year, I invited Katie Keach to come talk about being plural, right? Being someone with dissociative identity disorder. And they did great. They were awesome. The book they recommended was Dissociation Made Simple, and I decided to read it. I know I experienced some dissociation, so I was like, I'll just decide to read it. As I read it, I was like, oh my God, like, this is my life. Are you serious? It was crazy how seen I felt. And I was like, no, I just feel seen because I do this every time. I feel seen by everything. I just have a feeling seen problem, to be honest, which is true. But the more I like let the book sit and simmer, and it just kept coming up, and I tried to bring it up to my old therapist. She said no, like we all have OSDD, and I was like, do we? Um, and then I switched therapists because I wanted someone who focuses on dissociation. And this therapist was like, okay, she gave me the DES, which is the Dissociative Experiences Scale, DES2. And then she gave me that. I answered it. She scored it. I believe I scored in the range for OSDD, but that's not like an automatic diagnosis necessarily. We went through my answers. She asked me questions. We've met like 3 or 4 times now, and this was the first time she was like, yeah, you definitely, she said, you definitely have DID, which I don't agree with because I don't have the full amnesia. So I'm like, at least I don't think I do. So I need to ask her about that, like what she meant. Did she mean OSDD, or is there a version of DID that doesn't involve the amnesia? I don't think there is. And so anyway, so yeah, that's kind of how I got diagnosed. Yes, talking about ADHD would be great. I'm autistic and waiting for ADHD diagnosis and would like to hear your experience of ADHD. Yeah, okay. So being ADHD feels like you're at war with yourself. Now, granted, my OSDD might come into play here, to be honest, but I still think ADHD really does feel like there's 2 different sides of yourself that are constantly pulling you in different directions. Yeah, I feel like being ADHD can be like having 2 different versions of you, and it's very confusing. Yeah, Isabella, the thing is, I definitely have more than just the 2 versions. It's not just the autism and the ADHD pulling at me. It's like there are parts of me that hold the depression. There are parts of me that function, but they're grumpy about it. There are parts of me that like everything is fine and great all the time and always will be, like it's this like lack of emotional object permanence due to emotional amnesia. I think that's like a big giveaway for me for OSDD. But let's see, ADHD, something that you might like, Alice. I created these alternative criteria for autism, ADHD, and ADHD. They are absolutely not official, but my hope is that they can be really helpful. I can share my screen and show them to you. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Share my screen, window, Canva, share. So these are the alternative ADHD criteria based on both research and lived experience. Can you guys see this? Let me make sure. Hold on. Let me hop on over to YouTube's. I just want to make sure y'all can see what I see. Yeah, it's a black screen right now. That's weird. Come on. Stop sharing. And he goes back to a black screen. That is so strange. Okay, hold on. What if I just share my entire screen? Oops. There we go. Okay. I don't know why it was doing that. My bad. So again, these are absolutely not official, but they are hopefully helpful. So ADHD specific criteria. And I have like links to studies and stuff for most of these. So we don't have an input filter. A lot of ADHDers get accused of not having an output filter, but we also don't have an input filter, meaning that we perceive all input simultaneously and at the same level of relevance, which can be hard. We also tend to experience rejection-sensitive dysphoria, where we are very sensitive to rejection. We experience boredom as almost physically painful. Emotional dysregulation can be a big one. Increased habituation. This is where we get used to sounds, other sensory things. We get used to input faster than a lot of other people, which is why, like, I don't know, somebody can be like, isn't that like thing driving you crazy? And it's like, no, I tuned that out immediately, right? We also have the ability to hyperfocus at times, misperception of time, sometimes called time blindness. We just don't perceive time in a linear fashion. We lose our shit all the time, like lose our physical stuff. We interrupt people a lot. We have a difficulty processing our energy, which can lead to external and internal restlessness. We tend to build up compensatory behaviors that might decrease our symptoms or traits, but they take up a lot of time, energy, and focus that non-ADHDers do not have to expend. And of course, disability, right? So like this disables us. And then we have autism, which is the social, sensory, emotional, cognitive connection, which is kind of like the way I have a whole video about this, but like if we have a lot of sensory input, that can affect us emotionally and cognitively. Or if we have a ton of cognitive input, it can affect, they all blend, right? In a way that doesn't always happen for non-autistic folks. Let me check the chat. Hold on. My ADHD side gets really panicky, upset, and angry because my autistic side holds me back, makes me hypervigilant, scared, anxious, amongst other things. I have OCD with them all. Yeah, Isabella, I get that completely. Together, it's very exhausting and hard to deal with because I need to learn how to manage my energy levels and what my support needs are to find balance. Yes. Yeah, agreed. So we also, as autistic folks, can be hyper and or hyposensitive to things. We're often a mix. Very few people are always hyper or always hyposensitive to everything. We tend to be like for instance, I am hypersensitive to light touch. Like light touch can feel really painful to me. But what am I hyposensitive to? I'm hyposensitive to like music. Music could play forever and I would be fine. Decreased habituation. So ADHDers have increased habituation. Autistic folks have decreased habituation. Where did it go? There it is. No. There it is. Sorry. It just means that we don't get used to stuff, which is why we can like hear electricity in the walls and it drives us nuts. Alexithymia is having trouble identifying your emotions while they're occurring. Doesn't mean we feel less, just means we don't know what it is we're feeling, which can be hard. Emotional dysregulation again, non-speaking can be part of your autistic profile. Some people are non-speaking all the time or most of the time. Others of us have what are now called verbal shutdowns, where we, periodically experience not being able to speak. Stimming is a big one, self-stimulatory behavior, meltdowns and shutdowns, special interests. We are very dedicated to our routines. Masking can be a big part of this. And of course, disability again. Then we have, let's see, I hear all the sounds, makes me angry sometimes. Yeah. Then we have ADHD specific criteria. So inconsistent sleep needs. We may need a lot of sleep or no sleep and like not a lot of in between. We have a narrow window of tolerance. We are prone to both over and under stimulation. When it comes to identities, especially in the classroom, we take on the identity of teacher's pet, class clown, or problem child. We hear, but you're so normal all the time because some of our autistic stuff will cancel out some of our ADHD stuff, at least in behavior, but it doesn't cancel out in our head. It just layers, right? Many of us self-medicate in order to deal with this. So substance use can be an issue for a lot of ADHDers. And also, again, disability. So that is this resource. I dropped the link to it in the chat. Yeah, we're still here, cool kids. Good to have you back. But I dropped the link to that in the chat if you want to download it to have your own version. that is available to you. We have had, let me look. Yeah, we've had almost 350 people sign up in the last week for that, which is awesome. Awesome. Thank you for going through this. Of course, Alice. I hope that this helped. Yeah, do not fear. This will not become an OSDD only channel. We're still going to talk autism, ADHD. Those are definitely still things that I experience. But yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Anybody want me to talk about anything specific? We got another 15 minutes or so, and then I got to skedaddle. This is very helpful. Oh, Gamer Christina, I'm so happy. I'm so glad. Welcome. Let's see. What else do y'all need to know about? Show off your nails. Oh, yeah. Ta-da. Ooh, they're so pretty. I'm doing, so I have a 1920s typewriter and I bring it to festivals sometimes and I write poems for people on the spot. So I am doing that not this weekend, but next weekend for my local Pride Festival. So I'm really pumped and I thought this would be fitting for that. Should be really fun. Yeah, I love doing it, Lexi. It is so fun. I just love poems and I love people and it's a great way to connect. I have a meeting for the first time this Monday to get a diagnosis. I'm scared of not being understood. And do you have any tips on how to overcome or prepare for this type of anxiety? Okay. So the way I dealt with it is, do you see that right here, right there on the floor? That is my autism binder. I literally made a binder with all of my self-assessments printed out and highlighted, annotated, with a bunch of studies that I read, highlighted and annotated, and with a trait tracker that I had where I tracked my traits, how I currently cope, and how I've coped in the past. Let's see what else. And I made an autism binder. I tried to make an ADHD binder, but honestly, I was like, I don't have ADHD. And so I stopped filling it out, which is kind of funny that of course I didn't finish the ADHD one. Shocking. I do have ADHD. It turns out. But yeah, for the autism, I made a binder and that really helped me feel more prepared. And when they tried to say, oh, but you don't do this. And I'm like, no, look at the binder. I used to do this. Now I have a way to cope with it, but I still have the impulse to do this. And I think that still counts and all this stuff. So, which I didn't have to do. My person took me very seriously and was like, I wish everybody brought me a binder like this. This is so helpful. There were several tests she was going to give me that she didn't have to give me because I'd already taken them. And so that was really helpful. But if you're worried your binder is going to make you seem over prepared, they're going to be like, oh, you're just shopping for a diagnosis, which is so rude. I hate that we have to worry about this stuff, but whatever. What I would do to soothe the anxiety, I would do EFT tapping. I love EFT tapping. So you just tap these really specific spots, mostly on your face, and you can look up where to tap and stuff. There's lots of YouTube videos about it. But I would do some tapping and just be like, I am so nervous about this diagnostic appointment. I want to understand myself. I want them to be kind. I'm so nervous. And you can just talk yourself through all of your feelings as you tap. That could be really, really helpful. Another thing I would do is remember that no matter what your diagnoses are, the traits that you're noticing, the problems that you're having, the issues you're experiencing count and they matter no matter what they're called. Don't get me wrong, I really value an accurate diagnosis for sure. And I understand that diagnosis doesn't save us from anything, right? So many people, myself included, obsess over whether or not they have autism or ADHD. They go, they get assessed. They're so nervous. They're so anxious. They finally get diagnosed. And then it's this huge, anticlimactic moment because they're like, oh, nothing changes. Yeah, you're still you. You're always you, Okay, how do we manage our rejection-sensitive dysphoria? I can't build strong relationships because of this. I feel rejected, really. But is it real rejection or is it just my thoughts? What if it's always real to you? right? Like, what if it's always real to you, no matter what? And what if you're allowed to take it seriously, even if the other person did not intend to reject you? Like, what then? How would you take care of yourself if your feelings of rejection mattered no matter what? You know, that's kind of how I've started treating things. Is like, what if I matter? What if the way I feel makes sense? And even when it doesn't make sense, what if I honor that my feelings are coming from somewhere? Oftentimes they're coming from past hurts, right? Rejection sensitivity often comes from past rejection. The reason we see rejection everywhere is because we are actually rejected more often as ADHDers, you know? So I think the best way to cope with it is just to be like, okay, again, EFT tapping can be really helpful here, but I feel rejected. That is real. That feeling is real. How can I feel better? Because I can't control their behavior and I can't necessarily even control my perception of their behavior. What can I control? And that's where I just start asking, you know, like, how do I want to feel? And how can I get closer to that feeling, even if I can't feel that way yet? So, like, yeah, maybe I just need to feel rejected for a little bit. Maybe I need to do some healing of past rejections so that I stop projecting them onto current interactions, you know, stuff like that. I think I'll do those. Thanks. I just realized I also get scared my friends might treat me differently if I get diagnosed with one or the other. Yeah. So floweric poption. I have a thing I can give you guys. Usually it used to be paid, but honestly, I just like give it away now because it's great, honestly. Let me find it. So it's my so you're autistic, now what? Slideshow. Nope, not presents. Public. No, I don't want the public view link. I want the template link. That way you guys can make a copy and you can edit it for yourself. So let me show you entire screen. So this is a slideshow I made and I filled it out and I showed it to my friends. So what is autism? Autism doesn't always look the way you've been taught. Main areas of my autism. I can show you what mine looks like filled out, actually. Hold on. Where did mine go? Did I delete it? I may have deleted it in like a fit of rejection sensitivity. That sounds right. That sounds like me. Anyway, I think I panicked and deleted it. But your main areas that are affected by being autistic, reasons why you might think I'm not autistic, you know, address those. Traits and symptoms that I consistently display. Sign number 1, 2, 3, 4, broken down into little explanations. Tests I've taken. You want to show off the tests you've tried. Why am I showing you this? You want to know, why are you telling your friends about it? Why do you want them to know? And just let them know. How can you support me? Give them suggestions. And then just a loving message here at the end. Yeah. Do you have any tips for dealing with emotional dysregulation part of ADHD? This is the part I find the most difficult, and the duality can be confusing. Yes, I do. I have a whole course called Managing Mood Swings that I'm going to drop in the chat for you. It's $67, and it goes over grief, sleep, and wise mind, which are like the 3 biggest tools that helped me cope with my emotional dysregulation. I mean, I was so emotionally dysregulated for so long that they thought I had bipolar disorder, which I don't have. Like, my current team is very sure that that's not what I have. But like, it can be a big problem. I totally hear you, Alice. Like, it can really get in the way. So again, sorry, I'll share my screen one more time. Honestly, it might be more. Let's just be real. So we want to feel your feelings without drowning in them. This is my mood swings course, how to ride the wave of your emotions. You guys ever hear this from a therapist? When the wave is a fucking tsunami. So is this familiar? Riding an emotional roller coaster where you never know what you might feel next or for how long. Feeling like your emotions are always set at 11 and wishing you could do anything to turn it down to 5. not knowing who you are because your emotions are always changing, feeling like you're helpless and broken, like there's something wrong with you. But there's not. When you feel safe enough to actually feel your feelings without shutting down or blowing up, you can break the cycle of emotional dysregulation. So I teach grief. The reason I teach grief is I know you don't want to accept your mood swings, but they are a part of you. We need to grieve for the person we thought we had to be in order to be loved, and for all the years we lost pretending when we could have just been ourselves all along. Stop hating yourself for what you can't change. Then we have practical tools, sleep. Trust me, everything about the nervous system works better when you're on a regular sleep schedule. I resisted this for a long time too. It's okay, but we got to work on this if we want anything to get better. And then a mindset tool, Wise Mind. Your emotions are not automatically correct, but neither is your logic. They are two sides of the same coin of your personal truth, and Wise Mind can help us accept them both. This skill is both validating and practically helpful. So you'll get, there's like an introductory lesson. Oop, there's a little bug. 3 grief lessons, 3 sleep lessons, 3 Wise Mind, then like grief 2.0. Who even am I without my mood swings? And then I'll teach you my Wise Mind journaling exercise. I'll teach you how to make a mental breakdown box, and then some EFT tapping exercises as well. $67. There's 11 lessons, each one. So it's about 4 hours of material. This is for anybody with emotional dysregulation. So you're ready for some emotional stability. So that is that. This resource is just what I need to let my parents know I'm not just imagining that I'm ADHD. There you go, MZ. I'm so glad. Yeah, enjoy it. Enjoy the template. Use it. Send it to all your people. I'm glad I tuned in. I didn't realize what I went through, how to name. I'm adding that book to my list. Yeah, which book? Sorry, the Dissociation Made Simple? Because, yeah, that's a good one. Do you have some tips for just communicating in day-to-day life? Yeah, cool kids. Communicating in day-to-day life, you want to know why are you communicating? I think that's been the biggest thing that's helped me, is understanding that a lot of times when I'm communicating, it's not actually to express information. It's because I want to be validated. And just knowing that that's my goal when it comes to communication is good to know, and recognizing when that's not always appropriate and when I need to shift my goal, So what's your goal with communication, and how can you best reach that goal? Yeah, that's kind of what I would focus on. Another thing is, if you experience verbal shutdowns a lot, or if you are a sometimes non-speaking person, texting is a great way to communicate with people. There's also, sorry, my nose is so itchy. I'm trying not to itch it. It's like whenever I go live, my nose gets really itchy. It's a weird psychosomatic thing. Focusing. There are like AAC apps and stuff like that. So alternative and augmentative communication, that can help. Also just trusting yourself to communicate in the way that's best for you. Even if other people don't always understand, trusting that they want to understand and that you want to understand them. And like, you guys are going to make this work because you want to understand each other, Could it be stimming you're doing now? Maybe it's stimming, but like, why is it itchy? Why is it so itchy? I hate it. Like, can't, and I get all over itchy sometimes too, but I don't know what that's about, but I sometimes feel like I'm allergic to myself. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know, like, anyway, that's a whole other conversation. I'm allergic to myself. Yeah, Dissociating Made Simple. Yeah, Dissociation Made Simple by Jamie Marich. Such a good book. Highly, highly recommend. This is my favorite stem. When you have nice acrylics and they're so smooth and you run them over your lips and it feels so good. That's my favorite stem in like the whole wide world. The itching could possibly be explained by an old wives' tale. I don't know what the old wives' tale is, though. What does the old wives' tale say about itching? Does it mean I'm pregnant? Because I'm not. I'm curious. Yeah, we have 3 kids in daycare. We have no desire to have 3 kids in daycare anytime soon. So, yeah, maybe someone's thinking about you right now. Oh, is that the old wives' tale? Maybe that's what it is. Whoever's thinking about me, stop. My nose is itchy. Quit. Oh boy. Okay. Well, I am going to go. Thank you all so much for tuning in, for asking such amazing questions, for letting me talk about myself and my stuff. And that was really helpful and nice. Does anybody have any last minute questions? Any rapid fire, something quick, anything you want to know before I go? Anything. Of course, Lexi. So good to see you again. I don't remember. Something about something itching means someone's thinking about you. Yes. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. I know when your ears get red, when your ears are burning, someone's thinking of you. At least that's what I've always heard. But maybe it's the itchy nose too. I don't know. I'm going to wait just another minute and see if anybody has any last minute questions. And then I'm going to skedaddle. Oh, my ears never burn. It's a good thing. It feels terrible. It's the wives' tales just to make you feel better. It's just to make kids feel better when they're in pain. Ears burning does not feel good. All right. I am going to go then. This was lovely, and I'll talk to you all hopefully next week. Bye.